Hello my friends, and thank you for joining me. Today we make another art journal page for Aall Create, and you will find links to what I used in the description box below. So let's jump right in and make a background with Nuvo shimmer powders in Atlantis Burst, Blue Blitz, Violet Brocade, Falling Leaves and Green Paradise, along with Cosmic Shimmer powder in Denim Dash. I have a square panel in thick watercolor cardstock that I know will hold together through many rounds of water and pigment. I add a very small amount of pigment powders in horizontal rows, starting with green at the bottom, followed by blue, and at the top violet and dark blue. I always have fun using these powders, and you don't need much at all, and since I enjoy this process, I will add several layers of pigment powders as I go along. I activate the pigment by adding water with a spray bottle and use a brush to push the paper down so the colors can move and blend. And then I add water and more pigment powders when I feel the need, because I trust the paper to hold together. I lift and tilt the panel to move the colors, and if I feel I have diluted the colors with too much water, I just add more pigment and water again. Because I want a deeper blue around a light center, I mask off the center with copy paper and bring out two distressed mica stains in frosted juniper and snow flurries and spray over the pigment powders with those shimmering sprays. And at last I am happy with our background. Next, I bring out a stamp set I used in the previous video called Violet, number 574 by Tracy Evans, and I stamped that violet many times in VersaFine Onyx Black ink. So I have many violets, and I want to color them all in different shades of purple using distress inks in mustard seed for the centers, and for the petals wilted violet, villainous potion, dusty concord and seedless preserves, mixing the inks to get variations of purple. I use the darker inks further out and lighter shades closer to the yellow centers. I left the coloring of two flowers in, even though I colored so many, and I do the same with the leaves and stems. I bring out many green inks and use different combos so we will have variation in color on the leaves as well. Next, I bring out an adorable stamp set called Up, Up and Away, number 467 by Tracy Evans, and I stamp all of the little critters and the hot air balloon in permanent black ink. Whenever you watch me craft, you can be absolutely sure that I have a big cup of coffee with milk beside me. Next up is another stamp set I have used before. I love to get more than one project from a stamp set. It is called Farmyard Friends number 620 by Bipasha BK. And I stamped the wooden sign in the same way as the other images. To color the hot air balloon, I'm using Nuvo shimmer powders because I want it to shimmer like the background using solar flare and cherry bomb. I put some powder on my glass mat, add water and color with a regular brush, yellow in the center and pink further out. And I don't care if I color over the word create or the banner on the balloon, because I stamped, colored and fussy cut them out from another image and will glue them on top later. I color the basket with distress inks in ground espresso for the shadows, and I fill in the rest with vintage photo. I do the same with the wood sign, add shadows with the darker ground espresso and fill in and blend out harsh lines with vintage photo. I stamped lots of little birds and I color them with distress inks in two combos, mustard seeds and wild honey for the yellow birds, along with picked raspberries and kitsch flamingo for the pink birds. For the foxes I used vintage photo and rusty hinge, darkest where I want shadows and leaving a highlight on their tummies and faces. And I used picked raspberries for the scarf and flower. Next, I'm drinking more coffee and color the little bunny, also in distress inks in pumice stone and kitsch flamingo pink for his nose and cheek. I really fell in love with these little animals, and when I'm finished, this page will be one of my absolute favorites. I want some more interest on my background, like I always do, so I bring out Hero Art's Unicorn White Pigment ink and a stencil called Connected Colony number 64 by Autour de Moi. I use a brush to add white pigment ink through the stencil, adding to the whimsical feeling. Next is this well-loved stamp set by Tracy Evans called Scripted Thoughts number 595. I hold the stamp in my hand, ink up with VersaFine Twilight Dark Blue ink. Then I stamp that text randomly, here and there, on my background. I want to frame my background, and to do that I bring out distress ink in Blueprint Sketch and I blend the blue in from the sides, and then I use Black Soot Archival ink to darken the edges even more. What could be a better sentiment than the name of the stamp set, Up, Up and Away? I stamped that sentiment on the wood sign in Versamark embossing ink and cover with Wow's bright white embossing powder and melt the powder with my heat tool. Now let's put this page together, and you can see the pile of violets to my right. I start gluing the violets onto my background in a row. When I have a row of violets, I glue a second row slightly shorter than the previous flower row. put foam tape behind the wood sign and glue it down among the violets. I have the word create and the balloon banner colored and cut out, and I glue the pieces on top of my image to achieve dimension. Next, I glue one of the foxes in the balloon basket, add foam tape behind the basket and balloon, and glue them on to my shimmering sky. I put tiny foam squares behind every little bird and start gluing them all over our page. I dressed the bunny in a yellow hat from the same stamp set, put foam tape behind him, and glue the grumpy bunny among the flowers. Next, I glue the happy dancing fox at the top of a flower with foam tape. I use scissors to snip off the flowers hanging off the page and glue on the rest of my birds. I made many and I don't want to waste them. The only thing left now is to glue my panel onto one of the black pages in my disc-bound journal. And now, this happy Aall and Create mixed media page is finished. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Until the next time, happy crafting!